structuring the flow of speaking through natural movement of thought. Use 7 simple steps. These steps work like a color staircase. 7 simple steps, 7 colors. What I mean is, in other words, let me put it this way, to put it simply, what I'm trying to say is, the point is, so yeah, that's an easier way to look at it. What I mean is, we need to slow down, the tone feels off, this could be simpler. So what are you trying to say? What I mean is, we need a clearer plan. Do you disagree with me? Not exactly. What I mean is, the wording could be softer. In other words, we need to start again. The plan didn't work. People need clarity. Can you explain it another way? In other words, the message just isn't landing. So what's the short version? In other words, we moved too fast. Let me put it this way, we're not ready yet. The tone matters. This could go wrong fast. I'm still not sure I get it. Okay, let me put it this way. We need direction before speed. Why are you worried? Let me put it this way. One small mistake can turn into a big one. To put it simply, we need more time. The plan failed. People are tired. Can you make it easier to understand? Sure, to put it simply, we need to reset the plan. So what's the real issue? To put it simply, nobody knows what comes next. What I'm trying to say is this matters. The tone feels wrong. We need a better way. So, what exactly do you mean? What I'm trying to say is we need to make this clearer. Are you disagreeing with me? Not really. What I'm trying to say is there are maybe a better way to say it. The point is, we're losing time, the message isn't clear, people need support. So, what's the point exactly? The point is, people need to understand the main goal. Why do you keep repeating that? Because the point is, that's the part that matters most. So, yeah, that's the easier way to look at it. That's a simpler way to think about it. That makes it easier to understand. Is there a simpler way to explain it? Yeah, so yeah, that's an easier way to look at it. Does that version make more sense? Definitely. So, yeah, that's an easier way to look at it. What I mean is, this doesn't have to be so complicated. In other words, we can explain it more clearly. Let me put it this way, the idea is fine. To put it simply, people just need a clearer message. What I'm trying to say is simple language helps more. The point is clarity matters. So yeah, that's an easier way to look at it. What I mean is really doesn't have to be so complicated. In other words, we're making it harder. Let me put it this way, if people don't get the message right away, something's off. To put it simply, clearer language works better. What I'm trying to say is we don't need more words. The point is clarity makes everything easier. So yeah, that's the way to look at it. So what are you actually trying to say? What I mean is this version sounds clearer. Are you saying the idea is bad? No, what I mean is the wording feels a bit off. Can you say it in a simpler way? Yeah, in other words, people just need a clearer message. So, what's the short version? In other words, it sounds good, but it doesn't really land. I still don't fully get your point. Okay, let me put it this way. If it feels heavy, it probably is. Why do you think this won't work? Let me put it this way, people won't use it if it sounds unnatural. Can you explain it without all the extra detail? Sure, to put it simply, it's too complicated right now. So, what's the real problem? To put it simply, nobody knows what comes next. So, are you disagreeing with me? Not exactly. What I'm trying to say is there's a cleaner way to say it. What do you mean by cleaner? What I'm trying to say is it should sound easier and more natural. Why do you keep coming back to this? Because the point is people need to understand it fast. So, what really matters here? The point is clarity matters more than sounding smart. So this version makes more sense. So yeah, that's an easier way to look at it. Is this better for teaching? Definitely. So yeah, that's an easier way to look at it.